In the small town of Willow Creek, there was an enduring legend about a mysterious forest on its outskirts. It was said to be cursed, and those who dared to enter would find their darkest fears brought to life. The townsfolk had many tales, none of which ended well, perpetuating a fear of events spiraling outcomes beyond their control. It was here that young Annie lived, a girl known for her curiosity and unrelenting bravery, traits inherited from her late father, who was something of an adventurer himself. One autumn evening, as crisp leaves rustled underfoot, Annie's best friend, Leo, dared her to venture into the forest. She hesitated for a moment, her mind flooded with warnings she had heard, but with a determined chin up, Annie accepted the challenge, her pulse quickening with equal parts fear and excitement. Annie and Leo set off towards the forest's edge at dusk, shadows playing tricks on their mind. It's just a story, Annie reminded herself, albeit uneasily, but as they ventured deeper, the familiar trail grew wild and treacherous, the eerie silence only broken by their hushed whispers and the snapping of twigs. Suddenly, the ambience shifted, the air grew colder, a creeping fear settling over them. Each step made their hearts pound louder until every shadow seemed to mock their bravado. They reached a clearing where Annie halted, instinct screaming that something wasn't right. There, an ancient-looking sundial stood, casting an impossibly long shadow despite the lack of direct moonlight. "We should go back," Leo's voice quavered, eyes darting nervously. Annie nodded, unwilling to reveal that the tales were creeping into her thoughts too. As they turned back, the forest seemed to change around them. Paths they had taken twisted into puzzles, every familiar landmark vanished. Panic crept in as the realization struck them hard. They were lost, truly lost. Hours felt like days as the forest seemed intent on turning them around, shaking their belief that they would find their way out. They struggled onward, the night playing on their anxieties, their thoughts racing to outcomes they dreaded. "I wish I hadn't come," Annie thought repeatedly as her resolve began to crumble. When all seemed bleak, lit by a hauntingly vivid moon, something incredible happened. A gentle rustle led them to a hidden path lined with phosphorescent plants that glowed with a life of their own. Enticed by the miraculous sight, they followed along to an entrance out of the forest. Once emerged, it was dawn, the first rays of sun greeting them with warmth as if to assure them of their return. Shaken but relieved, Annie and Leo vowed never to speak of that night again, respecting an unspoken bond. As news spread of their adventure and their safe return, Willow Creek's residents found their imaginations fueled anew, proving that some stories never truly end until they're lived. Annie learned that the harsh way, that fears have their reasons, and while paths might lead to dark places, courage could lead them back home. It's true what they say, sometimes things end up the way you were terrified to think about, but it's what you do in those moments that define the journey, and the story's unforgettable.